The story of the people of the cave, Ashab al-Kahf, is one of the most captivating and profound narratives in Islamic tradition, found in Surah Al-Kahf. It is a story that transcends time, illustrating themes of faith, perseverance, and the power of Allah's will. This narrative unfolds during a period of great oppression, where a group of young men sought refuge in a cave to preserve their faith. Allah, in His infinite mercy, protected them for an extraordinary period of time, allowing them to sleep for 3 centuries. This remarkable event not only provides valuable lessons about the nature of belief in Allah, but also offers insight into the timeless struggle of maintaining faith in the face of adversity. The story begins in a city ruled by a tyrannical king, who demanded that his subjects worship idols. This king's oppressive rule left no room for the worship of Allah, and anyone who rejected the idol worship faced severe punishment. In such an environment, a group of young men referred to as the people of the cave refused to conform to the king's demands. They were firm in their belief in Allah, and despite the dangers they faced, they chose to stand for their faith. The decision to flee faced with increasing persecution, the young men made the decision to leave their homes and flee to a remote cave to seek Allah's protection. Their courage and conviction in the face of danger reflect the strength of their faith. They understood that their devotion to Allah was more important than their worldly lives. The decision to leave behind everything they knew, including their homes, families, and comfort, was not one made lightly. However, they trusted that Allah would provide for them and protect them in the cave. This part of the story illustrates the concept of sacrifice for the sake of faith. The people of the cave were willing to give up everything in order to preserve their belief in Allah and avoid being forced into idol worship. Their act of fleeing represents the strength of their resolve and the importance of holding on to faith, even when it seems impossible. Allah's protection. Once the young men entered the cave, they prayed to Allah, seeking His protection and refuge. Allah answered their prayers in the most miraculous of ways. By His will, the young men fell into a deep sleep, and during this time, they were not only preserved physically, but also protected from any external harm. They slept for 300 years, yet when they awoke, they had not aged a single day. This miraculous event highlights absolute control over time and His ability to protect and preserve His servants in ways beyond human comprehension. The people of the cave were unaware of the passage of time, and when they awoke, they believed they had slept for only a short while. This miraculous preservation serves as a reminder of Allah's infinite power and His ability to protect the faithful, even when they are unaware of His intervention. The realization of change upon waking up, the young men were perplexed by their surroundings. They had no idea that centuries had passed while they slept. They decided to send one of their group members into the city to buy some food. When this young man entered the town, he was astounded by what he saw. The once idol-worshipping city had now become a place where people believed in the one true God, Allah. This was a city that had been transformed, and the very change they had hoped for had come to pass in their absence. The young man returned to the cave, telling the others about the dramatic change in the city. The people of the cave realized that their sacrifice and trust in Allah had led to a remarkable transformation in society. They understood that their faith had not only protected them, but it also contributed to the eventual change in their community. This part of the story underscores the significance of patience in the face of adversity and the eventual reward for unwavering faith. The miraculous nature of their sleep, the prolonged sleep of the people of the cave, is one of the most remarkable aspects of their story. It is a clear demonstration of Allah's power to transcend the natural laws of time and age. Their sleep was not a mere unconscious rest. It was a divine intervention that preserved their lives and allowed them to remain untouched by the passage of centuries. This event also serves as a reminder that while human beings are bound by time, Allah is beyond time and can control it, as he was taught in the context of the people of the cave. Their long sleep symbolizes the concept of divine protection. It is a powerful reminder that when one trusts in Allah and seeks his refuge, he will provide in ways that are beyond human understanding. The young men's trust in Allah's protection was rewarded with an extraordinary experience, one that would later become a story of inspiration for generations to come. The importance of belief in Allah at its core, the story of the people of the cave is a powerful testament to the importance of holding fast to one's faith, regardless of the challenges or obstacles that may arise. The young men did not falter in their belief, despite the immense pressure to conform to the idol worship of their time. They sought refuge in Allah, and in doing so, Allah protected them in ways that no human could have anticipated. The story encouraged believers to remain steadfast in their faith, even when the world around them seems to be falling apart. It highlights the truth that Allah is always there to protect and guide his servants, and that no matter how dire the situation may seem, he is capable of delivering his believers from hardship. The return to the city when the people of the cave finally emerged from the cave, they were faced with a completely transformed world. The city that once worshipped idols now believed in the oneness of Allah. This transformation was a clear sign of the power of faith and the influence that the unwavering belief of a few can have on an entire community. The people of the cave had played a small but crucial role in this change. Their sacrifice, patience, and trust in Allah had contributed to the eventual downfall of the tyrannical regime and the rise of a righteous belief in the city. This aspect of the story emphasizes the power of collective faith. The actions of a few believers can lead to a significant transformation in society. It shows that the efforts of those who stand for what is right, even in the face of great adversity, are never in vain. Allah's plan is always greater, and he uses his servants to bring about positive change in the world. The impact of their story, the story of the people of the cave, continues to inspire Muslims around the world. It is a reminder that no matter the challenges one faces, Allah's protection and mercy are always available for those who place their trust in him. The young men's journey from oppression to freedom, from fear to safety, is a story of hope, perseverance, and the ultimate triumph of faith. This story also serves as a reminder of the importance of seeking refuge in Allah during times of difficulty. When faced with hardship, believers should remember the people of the cave and their unwavering trust in Allah. The story encouraged Muslims to be patient, to trust in Allah's plan, and to remember that no situation is beyond Allah's control. The awakening and realization of time as the people of the cave awoke after what they believed to be a brief slumber They were filled with confusion and amazement. Their eyes, though opened to the world around them, struggled to comprehend the scene before them. The world was different. The once oppressive and idol-worshipping society they had fled from had transformed into a place of faith in the one true God, Allah. But most perplexing of all was the realization that they had slept not for a few hours or a few days, but for 300 years. The question that arose in their minds was, how long had they truly been asleep? One of the young men, feeling the hunger gnawing at his stomach, decided to venture into the nearby city to buy food. He was instructed by the others to be cautious and keep his identity concealed, for they knew that the city might still harbor those who would persecute them for their faith. When he arrived in the city, he was taken aback by the remarkable changes. The shops that once sold idols and offerings to false gods were now filled with goods of a different nature. People no longer bowed to idols, but instead professed belief in the one true God. The faces he saw no longer bore the mark of fear and oppression, but instead were radiant with hope and devotion. The transformation in the city was so striking that it was as if the young man had stepped into a different era entirely. The miraculous journey into the unknown. It is crucial to understand that the change the young man witnessed wasn't just physical. It wasn't simply the passing of time, but the transformation of the very hearts of the people. Where once there was ignorance and idolatry, now there was knowledge and faith in the Creator. This development was beyond human understanding. It was a testimony to Allah's will, His mercy, and His power to transform not just societies but entire epochs. As the young man ventured deeper into the city, he could not help but reflect on the fact that this transformation had occurred during the very time they had spent in the cave. He could not help but wonder what had happened while they slept, and how was it that the very city that had driven them to flee in the first place had changed so dramatically. It is at this point that the young man decided to buy some food. He entered a market where he was met with strange looks. People stared at him in disbelief, for he was carrying coins that were foreign to the people. These coins did not match the currency in use in the new city. The merchants began to whisper, and soon word spread that a strange man had appeared, carrying money that seemed ancient. His coins, which had been in his possession when they first fled the city centuries ago, were now considered relics of the past. His entire existence seemed like a mystery. The young man was then brought before the authorities who, upon questioning, became more and more intrigued by his tale. The discovery of the cave's miracle, realizing that the young man was not an ordinary traveler, the authorities took him to the king. The king, curious about the stranger, inquired further into his story. The young man recounted the events of their flight to the cave, their sleep, and their awakening after what seemed like only a few days. The king, astonished by the tale, realized that the man was no mere wanderer. He was part of the legendary group of people who had disappeared centuries ago. The king ordered an expedition to find the cave. The search was a historic event, and it was soon discovered that the people of the cave had truly remained hidden from the world for 3 centuries. The cave where these young men had sought refuge was now a symbol of faith and divine intervention. It became a place of pilgrimage for believers, a testament to Allah's protection and mercy. What was most striking, however, was the way the people of the cave were preserved. Their bodies showed no sign of aging, and their clothing was intact. It was as if no time had passed for them at all. This miraculous preservation, along with the story of their faith and flight to the cave, became a source of awe for the people. It was a sign that Allah's power was infinite and beyond human comprehension. The reflection of faith, the story of the people of the cave, is not simply one of miraculous events. It is also a story of faith that transcends time and human understanding. These young men had faced oppression, persecution, and a cruel king who demanded that they abandon their belief in Allah. Despite all of this, they chose to place their trust in Allah. Their journey into the cave was not one of despair, but one of hope. They believed that Allah would protect them, even if it meant that they would have to live in isolation for an indeterminate period of time. That their trust was rewarded beyond imagination. The protection they received was not just physical, but spiritual as well. Allah preserved their faith and their lives, ensuring that they would become a symbol of the power of belief. Their story, passed down through the generations, has inspired countless Muslims to hold fast to their faith, even in the face of adversity. It is a reminder that when we place our trust in Allah, He will protect us in ways we cannot fathom. The transformation of a community, the city that the people of the cave had left behind, had also undergone a remarkable transformation. The king, who had persecuted the believers, was no longer in power. The new rulers were just and fair, and the people of the city had embraced Islam. The once idol-worshipping society had become a beacon of faith. This transformation was not coincidental. It was the result of the unwavering faith of the people of the cave. Their departure and eventual return to the city represented not just a physical journey, but a spiritual one. It marked the triumph of faith over oppression, the victory of truth over falsehood. Their story served as a catalyst for change, not only in their own hearts, but in the hearts of the people around them. This transformation illustrates a key lesson of the story. Faith has the power to change not just individual lives, but entire communities. The people of the cave did not seek to change the world around them directly. They simply placed their trust in Allah and sought refuge in the cave. Yet their faith was so powerful that it reverberated through the generations, leading to a profound transformation in the society they had left behind. The legacy of Ashab al-Kahf, the legacy of the people of the cave, continues to inspire Muslims today. Their story serves as a reminder that faith, perseverance, and trust in Allah can bring about miraculous change. It is a call to believers to remain steadfast in their belief, even when the world around them seems bleak and oppressive. The people of the cave did not succumb to despair. Instead, they trusted in Allah and found refuge in Him. Their story teaches that no matter how dire the situation may seem, there is always hope when one places their trust in Allah. It is a reminder that the trials and tribulations we face are temporary, and that Allah's mercy and protection are eternal. The people of the cave are a testament to the fact that, in the end, faith in Allah will always prevail. The arrival of divine wisdom, as the story of the people of the cave, Ashab al-Kahf, unfolded, the miraculous event of their prolonged sleep, became a central theme that fascinated all who came to know it. The people who lived in the city were stunned by the reality that these young men had been hidden away for over 3 centuries, preserved by the will of Allah. They saw in this event a clear sign of Allah's power and His capacity to intervene in human affairs. The city, which had once been steeped in idolatry and oppression, was now a place of transformation. But the most profound lesson of all was the demonstration of Allah's mercy and protection in response to the steadfast faith of these young men. The king who had once demanded the worship of idols had long since passed, and the rulers that followed him had embraced the worship of Allah. It was under these new rulers that the story of the people of the cave became a symbol of the triumph of faith. The people, having learned of the event, were reminded of the importance of trust in Allah and the reward for those who remain patient in the face of trials. The people of the cave's legacy of faith. The transformation in the city was not just political, it was spiritual as well. The people of the cave had left a lasting impression on the hearts and minds of the people. Their unwavering faith, their decision to flee the oppressive city, and their eventual miraculous preservation in the cave stood as a living testimony to the power of belief in Allah. This powerful story was passed down from generation to generation, becoming an example of perseverance and the ultimate triumph of righteousness over oppression. The story of the people of the cave is often recited in the context of maintaining one's belief in the face of trials, whether they be external forces of persecution or internal struggles of doubt. The youth in the city began to reflect on the example set by the people of the cave. These young men had been willing to sacrifice everything, wealth, status, and safety for the sake of their faith. The legacy they left was not one of material wealth or worldly success, but of spiritual victory, a victory achieved through trust in Allah's wisdom and mercy. The people of the cave story also raised profound questions about the nature of time. They had experienced 300 years of sleep, during which their bodies had not aged, and yet the world around them had transformed entirely. This anomaly challenged the human understanding of time and reminded people that Allah, as the creator of time, is not bound by its limitations. Time, in this context, was shown to be a creation of Allah's will, and He could alter it as He pleased. Ethical and moral teachings, at the heart of the story of the people of the cave, is the theme of sacrifice. The young men did not merely seek safety for themselves. They made a sacrifice for their faith and for the greater good of society. They chose to separate themselves from their homes, families, and friends in order to preserve their monotheistic beliefs. This act of selflessness showed that true faith often requires making difficult choices, ones that may not align with societal norms or expectations. Their story emphasizes the importance of remaining firm in one's beliefs and trusting in Allah's plan. The decision to leave everything behind for the sake of faith is not an easy one, but it is one that reflects a deep commitment to Allah. The people of the cave's willingness to endure hardship rather than compromise their beliefs serves as a lesson for all Muslims to stand firm in their faith, no matter how difficult the circumstances. The story also teaches the value of hope in times of despair. The people of the cave were living in a time of widespread disbelief and persecution, and their faith was tested in ways that most people could not imagine. Yet their trust in Allah's mercy and protection never wavered. This hope and faith ultimately led to their miraculous survival and the transformation of their city. The role of divine intervention. One of the most profound aspects of the story is the role of divine intervention in the lives of the people of the cave. Allah protected these young men in a way that transcended the natural order of events. Their sleep, lasting for 3 centuries, was a miraculous event that defied the laws of time and biology. Their bodies were preserved in a state of youth and vitality, unaffected by the passage of time. This divine protection was a clear sign of Allah's power and mercy. The miraculous nature of their sleep speaks to the concept of divine intervention, where Allah, in His wisdom, intervenes in the lives of His servants to guide, protect, and reward them. This intervention is not limited to the lives of prophets or saints, but extends to all who place their trust in Allah. It serves as a reminder that Allah's plans are always greater than our own, and that He is capable of protecting and providing for His servants in ways that we cannot fully comprehend. In many ways, the story of the people of the cave can be seen as a reminder of the timeless nature of Allah's power. Just as He intervened in the lives of the young men, He continues to intervene in the lives of believers today, whether through the preservation of faith, the protection from harm, or the guidance toward righteousness. Allah's mercy is infinite and all-encompassing. The significance of the cave itself plays a central role in the story, serving as a symbol of shelter and refuge. For the people of the cave was a place of protection from the dangers of the outside world. It was a place where they could retreat from the persecution they faced, and where they could be safe in their faith. In this sense, the cave symbolizes the concept of spiritual refuge, a place where one can find peace and solace in the face of external turmoil. The cave also represents the idea of isolation for spiritual growth. In a world filled with distractions and temptations, the people of the cave sought refuge in a secluded space where they could focus on their faith and draw closer to Allah. This idea of seeking spiritual solitude is not uncommon in Islam, as many of the greatest scholars and saints throughout history have sought isolation in order to devote themselves fully to worship and contemplation. However, the cave also symbolizes the transient nature of the world. While the people of the cave sought refuge in the cave, they were ultimately called to return to society. The miraculous sleep in the cave was not meant to be permanent. Rather, it was a temporary period of divine protection. This reminds us that the trials of life are temporary, and that we should not become too attached to the transient world around us. The return to the world. When the people of the cave emerged from their long sleep, they did not return to the same world they had left. The city had transformed, and so too had the people. The idol-worshipping society they had fled from had become a place of faith in Allah. This transformation was a powerful reminder that change is inevitable, and that Allah's plan for the world is always unfolding. The return of the people of the cave to the city was not just a return to a physical space, but a return to the world with a renewed sense of purpose. They had been given a new opportunity to witness the fruits of their faith and sacrifice. Their story had become a source of inspiration for the people, and their legacy would continue to guide generations to come. The eternal impact of their story, the story of the people of the cave, continues to have a profound impact on Muslims around the world. It serves as a source of strength and inspiration for those who face trials and tribulations in their lives. The people of the cave are a reminder that no matter how difficult the journey may seem, faith in Allah will ultimately lead to victory. Whether it is the struggle against external oppression or the internal struggle against doubt and fear, Allah's protection and mercy are always available to those who seek them. The legacy of the people of the cave also underscores the importance of preserving faith in times of hardship. Their story is not just one of miraculous events, but one of unwavering faith and trust in Allah's plan. It teaches us to be patient, to hold firm to our beliefs, and to trust that Allah will guide us through the challenges of life. A legacy of faith. The story of the people of the cave is a testament to the power of faith, patience, and trust in Allah. It teaches us that even in the face of extreme adversity, the reward for holding fast to our beliefs is beyond measure. Their journey from persecution to refuge and their miraculous sleep in the cave remains a timeless reminder of the mercy and protection of Allah. It is a story that continues to inspire Muslims, encouraging them to place their trust in Allah, to remain steadfast in their faith, and to believe that no matter how dire the situation may seem, Allah is always in control. The people of the cave story is not just a historical event, but a living legacy that continues to guide and uplift the hearts of believers. Through their example, we learn the true meaning of sacrifice, patience, and unwavering trust in Allah's plan.